Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, or good evening, or good afternoon, depending on when you are viewing this and where you are. Hi, I'm Casey Durango of Go Keto with Casey, where I talk about how I lost 97.4 pounds after starting the ketogenic protocol, how you may be able to lose weight, improve your health, and regain control of your life like I did. Yep, I did. Hi, today is a beautiful day here in my part of the world. Kimberly writes, "Good morning from a fall-like morning in East Tennessee. It is fall-like here as well. The early leaves are falling off the tulip poplars. Well, we have one giant tulip poplar, and the leaves fall on top of the netting above the chicken yard. Tulip poplars are really cool. They also drop flowers. I mean, it's a giant tree, and the chickens love to eat those petals. Anyway, that's another story. Today's topic is and this doesn't have to be about the ketogenic protocol. This can just be life in general. Let's not wait to change our weight before we re-enter our lives. Let's put it that way. Let's live our best lives possible, no matter what we weigh and whether we're just starting or whether we've got to goal weight or whether we are halfway there or and I don't think this is unique to me because I did that. So let's talk about that. First of all, for those of you who are new here, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. Here on Crowdcast, you can chat. You can have your comments. You can pin them if you want, and I will share them on screen if that's okay. You can watch this on replay, and you can see this on YouTube on replay. Also, for those of you who are unaware, the ketogenic protocol, as I learned it and as I've practiced it now for 11 and a half years, keep your carbohydrate intake to 20 grams or fewer a day. That's total carbs, not net carbs. Why? Because net carbs just means more carbs. Enjoy fatty sources of protein. What does that mean? Poultry, meat, pork, sausages, fish, eggs with the yolks and all the fat that comes with those things. The poultry with the skin, the eggs with the yolks, the ribeye with the band of fat, the pork with the band of fat. Enjoy that. And then, not obligatory, you don't have to eat them if you don't want to, but you can enjoy non-starchy vegetables in limited amounts and full-fat dairy, limited amounts. You want to get most of your nutrition from the fatty sources of protein. The next part is don't eat if you're not hungry. Challenging. Second most challenging, stop eating when you've had enough. But a pro tip for that is to eat slowly. Really slow your roll. Put down your utensils between delicious mouthfuls. Savor it. Eat slowly. Why? Because that gives leptin, the satiety hormone, time to get to your brain to say, you've had enough. Stop. All right, that's it. So I will tell you that over the years, I was very heavy. You can go to my blog, caseydurango.com, link below, and see some of my previous photographs from my very heavy days. I was overweight, obese, and morbidly obese for 30 years, from my mid-20s to my mid-50s. I tried all the stuff. Didn't do Weight Watchers because I was not about to get on a scale in front of a room full of people or even a room full of person. I was not about to get on the scale in front of anyone else. But I did try all the other stuff. The year of the triathlons, move more, eat less, low fat, juicing, food combining, all that stuff. I'd given up on losing weight. I just didn't want to take insulin for type 2 diabetes, didn't want to give myself an injection. So no, I do not wish that Ozempic had been around when I was doing this because I would not have wanted to give myself an injection. Not that I'm scared of needles. I just didn't want to do that. I don't want to. I've had enough weird stuff going on in my body that I don't want to be injecting stuff that I'm not 100% sold on. Anywho, so Google how to not take insulin for type 2 diabetes. The answer is cut back on your carbs. Lay off the carbs. Go low carb. Blood glucose drops. Caveat, if you are taking insulin for glucose, for high glucose, for blood sugar, then you need to do this under a doctor's supervision because the insulin can become too strong. As you cut back on the carbs, you have less glucose, but your insulin is still trying to drive down your glucose so you can actually have hypoglycemia. Okay, that's done. So that's the primer. Oh, can someone let me know if you can see and hear me, by the way? Just let me know. Sometimes I've been talking for like 10 minutes and no one can hear me or see me. Not, not a great tragedy. But for those years when I was overweight, obese, and morbidly obese, and all the things you want to do to try, I say, well, I'll do that after I've lost some weight. Like, how illogical is this? I knew that moving and just for general health, exercise of some form would be beneficial to me. I'm not talking about, with my 100 pounds heavier, go out and pound your joints on, asphalt for 10 miles at a time. I'm talking about, just anything. So I'll lose some weight before I do that. Let me lose some weight before I go to the gym. And of course, that has nothing to do with the fact that, well, it has something to do with the fact that exercise, when you're perfectly round, is difficult, uncomfortable, logistically can be a challenge, but it also, you feel so self-conscious, or I did. You assume everyone else has got their act together. Even if you see someone else that's large, they're exercising, you think, well, they're doing great. But we assume that people looking at an overweight, heavy, round person on an elliptical machine or a treadmill or walking around the track or, pushing on the weight machines is pathetic. And let me tell you something. If you are going through that, what I just described, if you are struggling with weight and how the weight makes you feel, whether emotionally, mentally, or physically, or all of those things, I'm sorry you're going through that. I'm sorry. Um, so many people are disgusted. They're grossed out, or we think they're grossed out. Some people are grossed out by overweight people, by seeing someone you think, just can't you get yourself together? Can't you get a grip, piggy? So I'm sorry if you're going through that. Okay, no one has said that they can see and hear me. I'm just going to keep on going. I'm going to keep on talking. Fingers crossed. How about this? I'm going to type it. Can you see and hear me? Okay. So I'm sorry you're going through that. I'm sorry I went through that. I'm sorry I felt that way about myself. I'm sorry I removed myself from my own life to that extent. Why? Not because I was incapable of the intellectual challenges of being in the world, not because I'm mentally unstable, not because I had, severe anxiety that would prevent me. No, it's because I was fat and I was embarrassed. And I didn't want to feel that way. Well, I didn't want to feel that way, but I didn't want to be in front of other people feeling that way. Now, requirements of being alive and raising a family and having a career required that I get out and do some things. But the only thing that kept me really going was the fact that I'm gregarious and maybe inappropriately self-confident. Maybe I was overly self-confident on some things. But I kept going. And I would cry on the way home in the car. Worse, I would stop and get something to eat and eat it in the car and then throw the evidence away. So so I could fool myself into thinking that other people didn't know that I ate more than I required. I mean, the proof was kind of there. Let's not wait until we lose weight to re-enter our lives, if indeed we have withdrawn from our lives a little bit. Let's let's screw up our courage and go to that recital. Let's say yes to that invitation to the cocktail party. Let's buy a piece of clothing, even if it's a size we don't want to realize that we require, but that's a decent piece of clothing. I wore the fat girl uniform and I did not indulge in nice clothes because I felt like I didn't deserve them. I was okay. I did have a professional career, but pretty much I was business casual, like dark blue jeans and three-quarter sleeve cotton button-up shirts in several colors and Dansko knockoff clogs because I had to get knockoffs because my feet were so wide. Now I can wear actual Danskos. Okay, I don't know what's going on. No one is saying anything. I think maybe my setting is okay. All right, I'm just going to keep talking. Maybe no one's in a chatty mood today because there are lots of you here. Oh, by the way, speaking of chatting, I am considering, and maybe I'll do it this week, I had the live streams here on Saturday morning on Crowdcast, and then I post them on YouTube as the replay. I'm considering doing a YouTube live stream, which I used to do Wednesday afternoons, 4 o'clock Eastern time. Some people just prefer to attend live on YouTube rather than Crowdcast. That's okay. So I'm considering doing that. Maybe a middle of the week pep talk and checking in. Okay. I'm going to ask my producer. Oh, here we go. Here's a question. Thank you. Casey, we're commenting, but for some reason you're not seeing it. Casey, we are commenting, but for some reason you're not seeing it. Okay, good. I'm glad you're commenting. Thank you. I don't know what I can do about that. I'm sure it's a setting I have. Let me check my settings. Disable Q&A, hide from stage. Nope. Everything should be okie dokie. So thank you. Maybe if you guys can see each other's and you can answer questions or put them as Kim just did in the Q&A with the question mark in the bubble, then I will be able to see that. So thank you very much for seeing that. And I don't know, I'll have to check this out. I've spent like 2 weeks on weird technology issues that have nothing to do with this. I mean, I'm talking about weird stuff. Weird, odd, not working, not functioning as designed. So it just goes without saying. But getting back to the topic, I don't live in regret. There are things that I did that were boneheaded. And there are things I did that were selfish. There are things that I did that were, when I look back, I'm pretty embarrassed. But I don't live in regret because all that boneheaded, selfish, embarrassing stuff that I experienced, of course, and some was mixed with wonderful achievements and happy, happy, happy moments and things of which I am proud. All of that combined to get me to where I am right now, here today, standing in front of you. And I am privileged to do so. I feel privileged to do what I do. So I don't live in regret, but I can recognize what I did, that I would like to counsel other people not to do what I did. One thing, don't wait 30 years to lay off the carbs. I would tell myself out loud, oh, I know low carb works because it worked for me when I was in college in 1977. I knew it worked. But then, And I only had a little bit of smidge of weight to lose in college, and I was cute and young and fit and all that stuff. And it was in my mid 20s after the birth of our second child, uh, that pregnancy during which I put on 60 pounds and then lost zero and then just kept putting on weight. And then came in the emotional, oh, thank you, emotional and self-esteem issues that came with putting on weight and being lonely. My husband worked 3 jobs so that I could stay at home with the children, and it was great, and I was, it was one of those, I was a little bit isolated. So all that combined, I just kept putting on weight. And I would try the low fat, and I would go back to low carb, and then I would, but I would tell myself, I know low carb works, but I can't see myself giving up potato chips, excuse me, tortilla chips for the rest of my life, or pizza crust. So I would tell myself no. So eventually, I just had to make a change. I did, and it's been great. And I'm here talking to you, healthy, fit, zero medications. My husband and I take a teaspoon of cod liver oil, Carlson Norwegian cod liver oil a day for the DHA and the vitamin D, which has corrected my vitamin D deficiency, by the way, which a lot of people have, not just people on keto. And that's it. I hear from people all over. Yesterday, and I will probably share this next week, someone from Estonia sent a picture and is so thrilled. And I will share that story with their permission. I asked their permission to share the photograph and the story, and I've been given permission to do that. So I will probably do that next week. Don't wait for the rest of your life. Don't wait to lose weight. Now, some things, hey, you gotta lose weight. When I was really heavy, I could go to, Disney and Carowinds, but I couldn't get in certain rides, not because I was embarrassed, but because I wouldn't fit. So there are certain things that, again, logistics require losing weight. Excuse me, I'm going to put this up. I really appreciate this. Okay. Judy Porterfield writes, yes, we are here. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'll reach out to Crowdcast and see what could be up there. I appreciate that. So logistically, yes. Now, just getting out and, again, pounding the pavement, if you're 100 pounds overweight, can be detrimental to your joint. So we have to, balance it. But things like I said, RSVPing in the affirmative, that you're going to go to some celebration or some party or some picnic or some friend's book reading. Say yes. If you found yourself saying no, or what I used to do, I'd say yes, and then at the last minute, I would cancel. Sorry, I can't make it. Something came up. I have a pounding headache. Kimberly writes, I've been working on living my life again. I started small by joining my local book club meeting once a month. It's been wonderful. I'm getting out more and more these days. That's what I'm talking about. Yes. Yes. Don't wait for the wait. Not everyone. Some people are perfectly happy inside their large bodies. I was physically uncomfortable living inside that body. And I certainly was mentally uncomfortable. Mental is a mashup of a word that came out on a morning snippet. It was a combination of emotional and mental. By the way, speaking of morning snippets, you don't have to buy one thing to be 100% successful at this protocol. But I do have, I will sell you, you can go to Amazon or my blog and see. Uh-oh. So I just got a blue message. Go to my blog, Green Journal. It's just full of stuff. You can see some of the pages. It's tracking and thoughts and goal setting and coloring pages. Or, Go Keto with Casey merch, which you can see the link below, or my Patreon group, a private support group at patreon.com, link below, where depending on your pledge, You get 20 pre-recorded video snippets from me every weekday morning. I just did number 2004 yesterday morning snippet. Going up from there, patron-only live streams, and going up from there, one-on-ones with me once a month. So there you go. Commercial over. If nothing else, if you can give me a thumbs up on my YouTube channel and hit subscribe, that also helps. Thank you very much. Now, let's see. Oh, goody, goody, goody. Thank you guys for putting these comments in here. Judy Porterfield writes, yes, 2 exclamation points. Kimberly, that's me. Exactly. Joining the gym was a huge step for me. Getting out, more exercising, more cooking more. It's just so much better. More cooking more. Okay, not sure what that means, Judy, but Judy is the queen of the autocorrect. Judy, during one of our patron-only live streams, typed in the word awesome, and out came sardines. So it is now a battle cry. You can buy a sardines sticker or a mug from my merch. And she corrects Jim, G-Y-M, not a J-I-M. And oops, yes, sardines. Yes, sardines. Thanks. Really appreciate it. So don't wait. I did. And like I said, I don't live in regret. That is kind of useless. Lessons learned? Yes. Learn a lesson. Don't live in regret. I try not to live in the past, frankly. I don't know what I'm supposed to do about it. Particularly if there are things in the past that, you know how that book, The Magical Art of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo, it's a little book, you can read it in an afternoon. And it started out saying, I thought, why am I reading this? And it made me laugh out loud in a good way. I mean, she's very clever. So tidying up, getting rid of stuff, purging, touch something. If it doesn't bring you joy, get rid of it. And it sounds trite, but if there are certain remembrances that only make you feel bad about yourself again, try to get rid of that. Let that stuff go. DH writes, I think, Judy, you mean cooking at home more. Okay, thank you. Maybe so. Thank you. And I really appreciate you guys, doing this. Now, can I ask you, Judy writes, yes, LOL. Can anyone give a comment, if you would, about whether a Wednesday afternoon YouTube live would be something that you'd get value out of? I'm not talking about cooking demos or recipe sharing or telling people how much I eat, when I eat, or what they should do. No, there are plenty of other places to find that. Frankly, I think we all need to step away from the cooking and the food blogs and the images of the food. I am liberated from the food, and I am happy. Kimberly writes, I'd be very interested in that. Good. So this would be on YouTube, which, as I used to do. I used to do the Saturday live streams on YouTube up until about, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 months ago. Maybe it's longer than that, when YouTube became rather unstable on Saturday mornings. And so I'd be talking and it would just disconnect. So I said, let's check out something else. So maybe it's gotten better. We'll give it a try. And Judy writes, I'd love a Wednesday live. And you guys can see these comments on the screen. And Judy writes, I'm liberated from the food too. Pretty much talking about making keto meatloaf. I'm making keto frittata, so I'm doing different things instead of just basic. Now, Judy, you asked about my meatloaf recipe. It is, I'm pretty sure, at my blog. So if you go to my blog, I don't think I made a video on it, but I have a great meatloaf recipe. It's very dense. You don't need much. Kimberly writes, would it be the same type of meeting we have here? It would be attendee driven. Yes, I think. I mean, do you have a suggestion? And Judy writes, ooh, okay, for some reason I was looking on YouTube. No, for some reason I did not make a video about the meatloaf. I don't know why. So, but I do have the recipe at my blog. Go to my blog, and the search bar on the blog, meatloaf, it'll come up. Just made some this week. And it's super simple and delicious. And Judy writes, thanks, Casey. So if anyone would like to attend the Wednesday, I'll try to do it. I have to brush up on my skills. It's been a while since I've launched a YouTube live. But I'll do it. Why? Because some people do not prefer coming on Crowdcast for whatever reason. They don't want to sign up for one. It's free. And Crowdcast is much more careful with with data. They don't, YouTube owns YouTube videos ultimately, including all the signups and everything. Crowdcast, no. But anyway, I'll do both. And the point is to get the message out. And I will say the message from the person in Estonia who reached out randomly to me, because I'm, kind of, no, maybe nobody's that interested in hearing anymore. I've been doing this a really long time. There are different venues, and some people just want to be told what to eat, when to eat, how much to eat, every, exam. And I'm not that. I'm not that. And I'm not about products. So, I'll just, like George MacArthur, old soldiers don't die, they just fade away. Maybe I'll just fade away. But then every now and again, I hear from someone who says that for whatever reason, my voice connected with them. And that makes me want to keep going. And that makes me want to do a YouTube live stream on Wednesday afternoons and continuing to do the Saturday mornings. All righty then. Does anyone have anything else to share or say? I'm sorry that I cannot for some reason. I'm sure it's a setting that I did. I'm sure it's me. And that I did something about not being able to see the comments. Unless you're in the speech bubble. So thank you guys for working with me on that. So much. And one reason I started doing Go Keto with Casey was not to share recipes. It was because I recognized in me how much I had removed myself from my own life. If no other reason, in my mind, even if I was out doing things, making good money in my career, life of the party, at the office meetings, everyone loved to hear what I was about to say because I was a smart aleck, good at what I did, respected for my brain. But I just started peeling myself away emotionally from things. And so I thought, and I felt so much better, physically better, and my mood regulated. And I stopped being so embarrassed and ashamed of myself. As far as my physical piece went, I've never been embarrassed about my brain or my vocabulary or my wit, although sometimes it's not that witty. But I thought, what about all the other people the lost entrepreneurship, volunteerism, creativity, business acumen, medical research. I mean, people who don't go into a field because they're too embarrassed, people who don't ask for raises because they're too embarrassed to ask for a raise or a promotion. I thought, if I can do this, someone else can do this. I mean, lose the weight, feel better. So that's where we are. I guess that's a little self-reflective today. But I have been doing this a long time. One has to ask, why do I keep doing this? I will ask my husband, babe, why am I continuing to do this? He says, well, do you remember that comment you got that time from the person who did that? Yes, okay. There we are. Enough about me. Don't wait on the wait. That's a homonym. Don't wait on the wait before you re-enter your life or live your best life or just decide, dadgummit, I'm going to do one thing today that I've not been doing because I was embarrassed. Walk around the block. Some people don't walk around the block because they feel like they're too heavy. There's a very heavy person, a young woman that walks, and we live at the bottom of the hill. So whatever way you go, you're going to go up the hill. We're at the bottom in the gully. And this young person is out there and she is working hard to get up that hill. I so admire her and I'm so glad she's doing it. She's not too heavy, and I'm not laughing at her, and I'm not disgusted. And if you're going through feeling badly about yourself, I am so sorry. But there can be light at the end of the tunnel. You can feel better. If I can do this, you can do this. If I can feel better about myself, the queen of the self deprecating joke, you can do this. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your day. Thank you for those of you who stepped in and kind of saved the comments. And perhaps I will see you on Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern on a YouTube Live. Like I said, I'm going to have to brush up on it. It's been a long time. Thanks, friends. Be sweet. Just don't eat sweets.